Tonight, the couple guaranteed to produce fireworks celebrating the new year by tying the knot. Drunk, disqualified and behind the wheel. A man arrested after an alcohol-fuelled chase. Stay away or quarantine. That's the message to Greater Sydney from the NT Government. Your exclusive look at the Austin Lane transformation and what it means for Darwin. And will Sydney's coronavirus crisis see crowds banned from the third test at the SCG?
This is 9 News Darwin.
Good evening. Tonight's the night we've all been waiting for. It's just 6 hours until we can finally say goodbye to 2020. Some of Australia's top artists are right now taking to the stage out the waterfront, with Darwin one of the freest places in the country to celebrate, and for one couple it'll be even more special.
New Year's Eve, it's not often a popular date to set a wedding, but this couple couldn't disagree more.
We get free fireworks, everyone around the world celebrate at the same time. I was like, yep, sounds banging, let's do it. Everyone was saying that 2020 is a bad year, but no, it's the year that I met my lovely bride. Tying the knot tonight, the lovebirds met, of course, in true Darwin style.
Terry first saw me at Monsoons. I used to work there and he added me on Facebook.
They couldn't have wished for better post-ceremony entertainment taking to the stage tonight.
And the fact that I can say right now where I'm playing a show tonight with no restrictions is just blowing my mind. This will be my first ever show where I'm like a headliner. This will be my first festival that I get to play at night that we've done a whole light show for and stuff. So this is going to be a pretty big thing.
The locals love her and she loves the locals.
Everyone in Darwin has been sick, very similar to me. Just a bit of a bogan, which is the best thing ever.
Shepherd fresh from the AFL Grand Finals halftime show, but still busting at the seams for a concert-style gig.
Yeah. This would be the biggest gig in terms of a crowd that you can interact with and see and just experience the moment with.
But just a word of COVID public safety advice from the government.
The traditional New Year's Eve kiss, you would want to be careful who you're kissing tonight.
And with the new year, there's new predictions in store.
It is better. It is a lot better than 2020. But
not to burst your bubble, it's not going to be all sunshine and roses at the stroke of midnight.
There might be a little bit more heartache for the world first, but ultimately it will end up on a high.
Zarisha Bradley, 9 News.
The 46-year-old Territory man has been slapped with more than half a dozen charges following an alleged alcohol-fuelled police chase through Darwin's northern suburbs. Police attempting to pull over an unregistered vehicle on the Stewart Highway in Parap just after 11 o'clock last night before a short pursuit commenced. The driver eventually stopped in Ludmilla, returning a high-range reading of 0.197. He'd already been disqualified from driving for 4 years in January this year. The New South Wales Premier is pleading with Sydney-siders to start 2021 in a responsible way by respecting restrictions, describing the city's growing COVID outbreak as a volatile situation. 10 new cases and tentacles of the virus spreading across the city.
We've never seen a New Year's Eve like this. A deserted harbour foreshore, the water fenced off from spectators, once prime vantage spots deserted.
The last thing we want is to welcome in 2021 with a super spreading event.
Despite the saddest of celebrations, some positive news to end the year. The latest COVID numbers are lower than yesterday. 10 cases of community transmission. Half of those are from the Avalon outbreak, 3 from the Croydon cluster, 1 linked to patient transport workers and another from Western Sydney is under investigation, but it might be an old case. It's the Inner West cluster that still has health authorities worried.
Until we got the Croydon cluster, we were on a more pleasing trajectory.
The new positive cases are still from the same family group. However, they were busy while infectious. Alerts issued across Sydney's southwest. Of most concern, the Monkey Mania Sports Club in Bankstown, La Piazza at the Bankstown Sports Club, Bass Hill Hair Management and the Venus Nail Salon, and Anytime Fitness in Kings Park. While confirmation today that a positive person also visited the Sutherland Shire. Lily Pilly Dental in Caringbah putting out an alert to patients, and Carina Private Hospital undertaking a deep clean of their obstetrics unit and isolating close contacts there. After huge queues at clinics in Wollongong yesterday, testing numbers were up from 17,000 to 28,000. A steady stream of cars this afternoon at a testing clinic in Summerhill.
Can I urge the community to even strive for higher testing rates?
From testing lines to state lines, the Sydney spread sparking wider fears. South Australia was first to slam the border closed, New South Wales travellers banned from midnight. And with Victoria recording 5 new COVID cases today, late this afternoon, they too took action. The border closed to the whole of New South Wales from midnight tomorrow.
Closing borders, putting in place restrictions is never an easy choice to make, and certainly not one that we wanted to be making and announcing on a day that is supposed to be about celebrating.
And masks will be compulsory indoors, something the New South Wales opposition wants mandated here too.
It makes it much easier for someone to wear a mask if they know that the other person is wearing a mask, because they have to wear a mask. It's part of the health order.
But the government may be prepared to waver when it comes to the cricket, amid calls for the third test to be played without a crowd.
If the situation evolves and we're more concerned about community transmission, then we will take the appropriate and provide the appropriate advice to government.
Laura Tunstall, 9 News.
And as we heard, COVID has reared its ugly head in Victoria again, with 8 confirmed cases linked to the Sydney outbreak. More than 70 close contacts are isolating, but there's a grim warning: infection rates will rise. And Victoria's border with New South Wales will shut from midnight tomorrow.
Ground zero of Melbourne's latest outbreak traced to a Thai restaurant.
The 3 cases that were identified yesterday all have a direct or indirect link to the Smile Buffalo Thai restaurant in Black Rock.
A New South Wales traveller dined at the restaurant on December 21st with a woman in her 40s from Mitcham. Nearby on another table were 2 women aged in their 40s and 70s from Mentone and Hallam. Days later, all 3 women had symptoms and by December 30 had tested positive for COVID-19.
Over the last few hours, we've currently contacted 52 close contacts of those 3 individuals.
The number in isolation swelled to more than 70 this afternoon as 3 infections became 6 and now 8, shattering Victoria's 61-day streak of no local transmission and any illusion of a COVID normal summer.
From 5 o'clock tonight, the limit of people gathering in private homes will be reduced from 30 down to 15.
We know that this will disrupt a whole heap of plans right across the state. We apologise for that, but again, this virus does not respect New Year's Eve.
The new restrictions also make masks mandatory inside for all Victorians.
Victorians know that masks work.
There will be limits on visitors to aged care. There's going to be screening of people that are required.
Close contacts of the state's 15 active cases are in isolation as far away as Leongatha. Forest Hill Chase and Brighton Yacht Club beat the DHHS to the punch, adding themselves to a growing list of exposure sites. In addition to Smile Buffalo, one of the infected women visited Doveton's Holy Family Parish on Boxing Day. A close contact golfed at Cape Shank yesterday. There were also visits to Mentone Beach, 6 stores at Fountain Gate, including Kmart, Big W and Target, the Catialo restaurant at Oakley, as well as Glen Waverley's Century City Walk and Mocha Joe's restaurant.
Crazy 24, not even 24 hours. Definitely closed today and tomorrow for New Year's, and we'll take it one step at a time.
The acting Premier warned Victorians in New South Wales they may not have the same luxury, and this afternoon made good on her threat.
From 11:59 p.m. from the 1st of January 2021, Victoria will be closing its borders to the entire state of New South Wales.
Those in the Wollongong and Blue Mountains red zones have less than 6 hours to get home and avoid hotel quarantine, with tougher restrictions lingering over Victoria if the outbreak isn't brought under control.
We don't rule out more measures being taken.
We will just have to wait and see what comes in the next 24 to 48 hours.
Mark Santo-Martino, 9 News.
Understandably, Sydney's COVID spread is causing fear among Victorians. Feeling deflated over the new outbreak, tonight they're on edge about going into lockdown again.
COVID-weary Victorians are stepping up again, heeding the health advice and queuing en masse for coronavirus testing across the southeastern and eastern suburbs.
I live with my mum. She's 84. I cannot take any chances.
Pretty peed off.
At Sandringham Hospital, they settled in for a long wait to get swabbed. Further south at Casey Fields Cranbourne, the virus testing cavalcade was long and orderly. And the message was clear at this Malvern drive-through: prepare to wait. Despite the delays, most in the queues felt it was the right thing to do.
I think everyone's a little bit nervous and just trying to keep on top of things, so it's just precaution.
On the streets of Blackrock, where the fresh outbreak was seeded, there is disappointment, but some saw it coming.
I'm not surprised really, because there's been a lot of social activity and perhaps we've all been a bit too complacent.
I think it's a pity for Melbourne that the buggers come back. 5
stores in Fountain Gate, Narre Warren have been listed as exposure sites after an infectious woman visited between 9 and 11 a.m. on Boxing Day. Major retailers Target, Big W and Kmart remain open, with Westfield management saying via statement, this does not mean that there is an ongoing risk associated with the premises and you can safely visit. Others at the centre today were less optimistic.
My heart's sinking as well, because I'm thinking I really don't want to go back into this again.
And we want to start getting our lives back to normal, so I think it's just that fear of, is everything going to be on halted again?
Visitor restrictions have also been reinstated across various medical facilities. Menarok Aged Care releasing this statement: I know this news will be devastating and it's not something we wanted to do, but the risk of community transmission is too high. In Doveton, the Holy Family Parish has also been named an exposure site after a positive case attended a service on December the 26th. The church priest uploading this message on YouTube.
As we come to the final day of this year, I have a little sad news to give. There's been one positive case that's been connected to the Holy Family Parish in Doveton.
The priest has confirmed that the infected woman attended a Spanish community mass at a hall here on site. And while the parish is rattled by what's occurred, the church has maintained excellent attendance records to assist in contact tracing. And we are all praying for the same outcome.
I think everyone, just wants to do the right thing.
Emily Rice, 9 News.
Meanwhile, South Australian authorities will tonight close their border with New South Wales. With less than 24 hours' notice, it's left South Aussies scrambling to get home before the midnight deadline.
As the clock strikes 12 and we welcome 2021, New South Wales residents will be locked out of South Australia.
As of midnight tonight, in fact 1 minute past midnight tonight, we will be putting a hard border back in place for New South Wales.
Only South Australians returning home, those relocating here permanently, and essential workers will be allowed to enter.
For the South Australians returning, or those people relocating, need to do 14 days of mandatory self-isolation.
Our health chief says the situation in Sydney is volatile and South Australians need to be protected.
It's still not clear where the Northern Beaches cluster started from, and that means that there may be some chains of transmission that are in other parts of New South Wales that haven't surfaced yet.
People will be allowed to travel through New South Wales, but only via direct route and spending minimal time in the state while in transit. Along the border, there will be a 100-kilometre bubble, making some communities exempt from the ban.
Both Wentworth and Broken Hill being exempt from these new, tougher border restrictions.
It's thrown New Year's plans into chaos. South Australians holidaying in New South Wales told come home.
And I was meant to come back on the 4th and changed my flight last night, and here I am.
I was due back on Sunday. I had to run round and to change it to the first flight this morning.
Well, obviously I was going to stay for New Year and school holidays.
Some still choosing to fly to Sydney.
We are going to quarantine at home for 2 weeks. So I took leave for that.
More police have been sent back to highway border checkpoints to enforce border restrictions. A rush expected in the next few hours. Those passing through the checkpoint east of Renmark today being tested before being allowed through.
Packed up the car in about half an hour, threw everything in it, got on the road, and we were actually shocked that we got through the border so quickly. Police have done well coming back, and now we're just waiting to have a COVID test.
Oh, we're just going to go for a couple of days, but yeah, we couldn't afford to quarantine for the fortnight, so yeah, we've had to come back now.
It's all because Sydney's COVID cases linked to 2 community clusters grew by another 10 today, after a jump of 18 yesterday. Victorian authorities also closing their border with New South Wales as they deal with a COVID outbreak in Melbourne, 8 cases there. Our authorities say it's still too early to implement restrictions on entry from Victoria.
There are no changes whatsoever to the arrangements with Victoria with regards to our border with Victoria, but we're obviously going to continue to monitor that very closely.
The Northern Territory is closing its borders to Greater Sydney again just a week after the NT government revoked the area's hotspot declaration. From midnight tonight, anyone arriving into the Territory from Greater Sydney will be put into mandatory quarantine.
We are watching very closely New South Wales and particularly metropolitan Melbourne. And so we will meet again over the weekend as the advice from AHPPC and our state officials comes into our Chief Health Officer, and we won't hesitate to declare further hotspot regions.
For those in the NT who have visited Greater Sydney in the last week, you won't have to self-isolate unless you've been to the specific inner west hotspots declared yesterday. As 2020 comes to a close, the worldwide death toll from COVID-19 stands at 1.8 million, with 82 million infections. Americans make up the largest share of cases, with more than 19.5 million. That's more than the entire populations of New South Wales, Queensland and Victoria combined. India is second in terms of sheer numbers, with more than 10 million. Today, the US hit another grim record with more than 3,700 deaths in a single day, bringing the total to more than 338,000 American lives lost. Australia will be closely watching the uptake of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine in the UK after Britain became the first country to officially authorise it for use. Our government has ordered 50 million doses, which at this stage are still set to be rolled out in March.
It led the world with its approval of the Pfizer vaccine. Now the UK is also the first to approve the Oxford AstraZeneca jab. Vaccination set to start from Monday.
I can tell you that we are shifting heaven and earth to roll them out as fast as we can.
It's hoped up to 2 million people could receive either a Pfizer or AstraZeneca jab each week as the UK government embarks on a radical shift, delaying second doses of the vaccine to give more people first doses as quickly as possible.
The first dose can protect people against the worst effects of this virus because the benefits kick in after 2 or 3 weeks.
That new advice, which differs from what we've heard previously, is that the first dose can provide around 70% protection after 3 weeks, increasing to 80% after the second dose. The Oxford vaccine has been dubbed the game changer because, unlike others, it's cheap and can be stored at room temperature. Australia has now secured more than 50 million doses.
So having not that crisis situation that's happening elsewhere in the world, it makes a big difference. It means that we can go through our full regulatory process. I think we're still in a very good position to wait for that. And I think that will reassure people and hopefully give us an even better uptake rate for the vaccine.
The UK has bought 100 million, offering hope on the horizon of ongoing lockdowns. It comes as millions more are plunged into the toughest Tier 4 restrictions. From midnight, 3/4 of England's population will come under the new rules as cases keep spiking across the country. Another 50,000 new cases were reported in the past 24 hours, leading to the UK's deadliest day since April. Another 981 lives lost. In London, Karianne Greenbank, 9 News.
The UK has passed its final Brexit hurdle with just a day to spare, the House of Commons approving a trade deal with the EU. Karianne Greenbank joins us now. And Kari, what will the next 48 hours look like?
Well, Paul, the UK government is warning it will be a bumpy road ahead as the UK adjusts to life outside of the European Union. After 4.5 years of Brexit drama, it came down to 1 day before deadline, before this new trade deal was passed in law. What it means from here is that from tonight, there are going to be big changes. The first and perhaps most obvious change will be at the border, where when this new trade deal comes in, there's going to be a raft of new paperwork at the border, and there will likely be delays as well. Paul?
Interesting times ahead, Karianne. Thank you for that update. A boost for businesses in Darwin CBD with the final stage of the Austin Lane transformation now complete. The trendy strip is set to attract a new wave of visitors to the city, plus more exciting events.
Striking street art, festoon lights, water holes in the wall.
We're becoming the cool side of Darwin.
It has the hallmarks of a Melbourne laneway, but this is the city's newest hipster hub. The final half of Austin Lane, now upgraded, ready for the new year.
This was a $1.8 million project to make sure that we could redo all of the groundworks, all of the civil works, the roadway, some better drainage, also some better lighting.
It follows earlier works on the south end completed in March. Cafe owner Sam Weston's cashing in, opening a second business nearby.
Pretty happy with what they've done out here. It's a good effort. It's bringing people in.
The Territory Government and Council expecting visitor activity to soar. While Austin Lane was last year already host to a number of community gatherings, the upgrade means better access and comfort, with the aim of attracting more events to the dry season calendar.
We're certainly always on the lookout for more events to do through the CBD. It'll be a wonderful space to have some bands and some good shows in through the dry season next year.
Some concerns have been raised over a lack of shade. The NT government saying it won't rule it out as a future addition. But once the sun goes down, there's no denying it's a cool place to be. Talia Sav, 9 News.
And it's time for a quick look at the weather with Amy Clements. And Amy, will people need to pack an umbrella when they're out and about celebrating tonight?
Murph, an umbrella is certainly a good idea. People are starting to pile in here at the waterfront for one of Darwin's biggest New Year's Eve parties, where certainly everyone's feeling very lucky. Not only did the forecast rain hold off for today, but we're able to have somewhat normal celebrations compared to other parts of the country. But of course, the big question is, will the skies be clear for not one, but two of the city's fireworks displays tonight? Murph, I'll have your full weather forecast a little later.
Oh, you've got me on tenterhooks. Thank you, Amy. Coming up in 9 News, panic on the tarmac as a bomb blast strikes a major airport. And later in the bulletin, the full list of medications that will be cheaper from tomorrow. Plus, Kerry-Ann Kennelly's on-stage accident that saw her rushed to hospital.
Layla McKinnon looks back at this year's incredible stories, from bushfires.
It's hard to leave, but we've got to go.
To the pandemic.
Please stay at home. Just wouldn't want this to happen to anybody.
Righting wrongs.
Well, I've got to think current affair, you know.
What a roller coaster ride it's been.
What have you got to say to this boy's parents?
A current affair next.
Love exploring the territory? If you do, it's good to know that with TIO Comprehensive Car Insurance, if you have an accident covered by your policy, we're here to help with the reasonable costs of towing, as well as your additional emergency accommodation and travelling costs. So get out there and explore. Get a quote today. TIO, we're for Territorians.
At Joyce Main, you're set for summer. This mega-sized Samsung 82-inch TV now under $3 grand. JBL Party Box on the go portable speaker just $575. Get 60 months interest free with bonus gift card now at Joyce Main.
Mr. Barra, Darwin's largest seafood range. Fresh, locally caught fish, prawns, oysters, bugs and more. See your fish filleted, cleaned or cut fresh when you buy it. For your special occasion, Christmas or just for yourself. Mr. Barra, selling to Territorians for over 35 years.
Gateway's mid-year sale is on now. There's massive savings centre-wide on big brands at all your favourite stores. Plus, with free easy parking, you can shop all day. Hurry, it's on now, so grab a bargain today at Gateway.
It's here. Mattress Studios' end-of-year sell-off is on now. It's the time of the year when we drastically reduce prices and clear our stock. Guaranteed low prices on top-brand Australian and imported mattresses. Don't miss it.
We're kicking off the year with event television that will sweep the nation. A Australia's favourite game show is back.
The greatest quiz show on the planet is back with prime time special events. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? The special events coming in January on 9.
9 News Darwin, proudly brought to you by TIO, insurance for Territorians.
The stricken yacht that ran aground on the Sunshine Coast with only a dog on board has been salvaged. The 13-metre MV Focus freed from the Caloundra sandbar by the Coast Guard this morning. The cruiser washed ashore on Tuesday after its skipper fell overboard. David Simpson managed to swim to a marine beacon, where he waited over 3 hours to be rescued. The Prime Minister has told Australians there's plenty to be hopeful for in 2021, even as borders close and the virus bites again. It's a year that will also bring financial changes for those hit by the pandemic.
This year has hardly been a walk in the park.
I have never felt more proud of my country.
The Prime Minister looks back.
We have confronted the greatest challenge Australians have faced since the Second World War.
And with the threat of COVID still looming, Scott Morrison offers a message of hope for Australians.
One based on our experience together.
The new year also heralds changes for those hit by the pandemic. JobKeeper will be reduced from $1,200 a fortnight to $1,000 for those who've worked 80 hours over 4 weeks. At the lower end, it's cut from $750 a fortnight to $650. The coronavirus supplement for 2 million job seeker recipients is cut from $250 a fortnight to $150.
It's going to be extremely stressful for people as they wonder how will they pay for their rent.
And hours from the change, the government announced $13 million has been recovered from criminal gangs and cheats targeting the welfare system.
If you're trying to defraud the Commonwealth, we'll catch you.
Labor says it's nothing compared to the robo-debt scandal.
They want to boast about recovering $13 million, yet they ripped $1.2 billion illegally.
From tomorrow, there are other changes for Australians. New insolvency laws come in to help small businesses survive. The $10,000 early access super scheme ends, but 800,000 people will have greater power to choose their own super fund. Fees for some university degrees will be more expensive, and the home builder grant is cut from $25,000 to $15,000. 2021 presents 2 familiar challenges for the Morrison government: the health and economic impacts of the pandemic and how to handle the relationship with China. On that, the Prime Minister has an objective.
Always protect our sovereignty. Stronger, safer, together. That's the path ahead of us in 2021.
Let's hope it's a happy new year. Jonathan Kersley, 9 News.
A senator from Missouri could delay the confirmation of President-elect Joe Biden's victory even further when Congress counts the Electoral College votes next week. Josh Hawley says he'll object, forcing a debate and lawmakers in both the House and the Senate to vote on whether they accept the result. Explosions and gunfire have rocked an international airport in Yemen, killing at least 25 people and injuring dozens more. It's believed the attack was targeting members of the country's newly appointed government who had just arrived on the tarmac.
Panic and confusion at Yemen's Aden airport. Crowds of people, including children, running for their lives amid the sound of gunfire and another explosion. Minutes earlier, members of Yemen's new unity government had landed at the airport from Saudi Arabia, where only days ago they'd been sworn into office. They were disembarking on live television when the attack began. The officials, who included Yemen's Prime Minister, were ushered to safety, but many innocent bystanders weren't so lucky. Among the dead was a local journalist who was on air when his phone went silent. The government delegation has since claimed it had been the intended target, describing this as a terrorist missile attack carried out by Iran-backed Houthi militia. So far, no group has claimed responsibility. In London, Ben Avery, 9 News.
He was clinging to a runaway barbecue during a fierce storm in Brazil, and it may have saved his life. As the canopy of a market came crashing down around him, it hit the barbecue but missed him. This is the man seconds later climbing out from under the wreck, miraculously uninjured. Galloping across the darkening skies of Edinburgh, a stag of bright lights illuminates the Hogmanay New Year's Festival. Artificial intelligence software was used to choreograph a swarm of drones dancing in shapes across the Scottish Highlands. A small town has been smashed by a landslide in Norway, the force of the earth pulling this home into a deep ravine. 10 people were injured and 21 are unaccounted for. Authorities evacuating hundreds of residents. Rescue teams are using helicopters to search through the debris of collapsed houses. Deployed across the country in record numbers, tonight our Defence Force rallying in our hour of need, facing some of our biggest ever disasters. Teens face serious charges for carjacking an Uber, and the Gilligan's Island star dies after contracting coronavirus.
Layla McKinnon looks back at this year's incredible stories, from bushfires to the pandemic. What a rollercoaster ride it's been. A current affair next.
Tats Lotto's $30 million mega draw is this Saturday. Hurry, grab an entry today for a chance to make your own mega memories. Wouldn't it be nice?
Gateway's mid-year sale is on now. There's massive savings centre-wide on big brands at all your favourite stores. Plus, with free easy parking, you can shop all day. Hurry, it's on now, so grab a bargain today at Gateway.
The new look Casuarina All Sports Club. Superb menu, delicious steak menu with entertainment for all ages. Membership available. Come in and see for yourself. Casuarina All Sports Club on Trower Road.
I'm giving a shout out to the Beds R Us New Year's sale. And as far as sales go, it's going to be huge. Up to 50% off beds, bedroom furniture, Australian-made mattresses and adjustable beds. The Beds R Us New Year shout out sale on now.
The MacArthur River Mine, producing minerals for products we use every day. Creating job opportunities, developing lifelong skills. Remote regions, supporting community projects. Investing in locals, nurturing future generations. How are they all connected? Through one natural resources company, Glencore. Discover how we're connecting possibilities every day.
I got a good feeling. Feel it in my bones, gotta shake it out. I'm going harder than before, let me hear you shout. I run around the whole world, chasing that thrill. From the bottom to the top, I finna knock it out. Oh no, I'm the talk of the town. I know you're feeling it now. Come on and move to the sound. And keep it going, and turn it up loud.
Transitions, light under control.
Visit your optical superstore optometrist to ask about Transitions brand lenses.
At Joyce Main, you're set for summer. Cool price on this LG fridge, $788. Or get $200 cash back on this LG 4-door French door fridge. Plus get 60 months interest free and get a bonus gift card now at Joyce Main.
Never before have we been this strong. 2 world #1s and the most exciting player on the planet leading the Aussie charge.
There it is!
Will this be our greatest Aussie Open ever?
That's it! Can you believe it?
Just what this big crowd wanted.
Police are searching for a group of masked men who stormed into an Airbnb in Sydney southwest, stabbing a teenager and injuring another. They're urging people to think twice about who is renting their properties.
Clenching weapons, their faces covered, a gang storms into a Sydney home.
They were masked, they were armed with what appeared to be a sawn-off shotgun, a machete, an axe, some knives and a hammer.
What happens to the 6 teenagers inside is terrifying. An 18-year-old man stabbed, his 17-year-old friend hit with a hammer before the 9 thugs take off with the victims' phones and wallets.
Poked my head out the window and saw about, 5 or 6 lads running out of the property.
all wearing hoods.
Pulsar Avenue turned a crime scene. The two injured rushed to hospital. Their friends escorted for questioning. The property itself is an Airbnb rented out to the group by the neighbours next door. This morning, the victims returned to collect their things.
No questions, no questions.
Was there some kind of party? What was the altercation about?
Nothing.
Police will allege the teens are part of a criminal group and that the attack was carried out by a rival gang. The inside of this property has been destroyed and is covered in blood. Police say this should act as a warning to others considering renting out their homes this holiday season, especially under strict COVID restrictions.
The fact that that happened in our street is a bit scary, and I definitely couldn't sleep after last night.
Grace Fitzgibbon, 9 News.
Meanwhile, 3 teens are tonight facing serious charges on the Gold Coast. The trio is accused of carjacking an Uber driver before taking the stolen car for a joyride, causing numerous crashes and injuring innocent drivers.
Cars smashed, shattered glass across the M1, 2 innocent girls injured and 3 teenage boys under arrest. Around 11:30 last night, police say a stolen Toyota Camry was driving alongside another stolen car.
They were just joyriding, flying down the highway.
Turning the northbound lanes at Ormo into a racing track.
9 News understands the stolen Toyota Camry was actually in a street race with a stolen Hyundai Kona. Witnesses seeing both cars driving dangerously and at high speeds, side by side.
That's when they hit the skids.
Coming around the corner, they veered left, sideswiped another car.
That car, a Toyota RAV, simply travelling near the speeding pair, the Kona, losing control.
Overcorrected into the guardrail, flipped a few times, then came to a stop. The kids in that Kona then took off in the Camry, so they fled.
Moments later, another car caught up in the carnage, a Hyundai i20 smashing into the ditched Kona.
Speed was a contributing factor.
It all started only minutes earlier. This Uber driver had pulled up to the BP Coomera in his Toyota Camry. Police say the 31-year-old was threatened and set upon by the 3 juveniles before the trio took off in his car.
Could have led to a catastrophic outcome.
2 teenage girls inside the Hyundai i20 injured, taken to Gold Coast University Hospital. The Toyota Camry found a short time later 2 17-year-old boys and a 16-year-old boy inside, tonight charged with unlawful use of a motor vehicle.
If you're going to break the law in Queensland, you can expect a very swift response from the Queensland Police Service.
Sally Guyte, 9 News.
Kerry-Anne Cannelly is bringing in the new year in hospital after falling off a trapeze during a performance of the stage show Pippin. Video taken to the Sydney Lyric Theatre last night shows the 67-year-old hanging upside down before she falls metres to the ground. She suffered a broken collarbone and ankle and has confirmed she will bow out of the musical. We knew her as the wholesome farm girl in hit show Gilligan's Island. Actress Dawn Wells has died from COVID-19 complications in Los Angeles. Ms Wells played the character of Mary Ann throughout the sitcom's 3 series in the 1960s before returning to her main passion, the theatre. She was 82. Find out what life-changing medications will be thousands of dollars cheaper from tomorrow. The votes are in. We'll reveal Australia's most popular dog name for 2020. And after the weather, meet the border cops that never take a break from the beat.
Layla McKinnon looks back at this year's incredible stories. From bushfires to the pandemic. What a roller coaster ride it's been. A current affair next.
The Hyundai sale event is now on. Experience all the best sides, including stunning value on selected models in the Hyundai range. Limited stock only, so what are you waiting for? Test drive a Hyundai today.
The new look Casuarina All Sports Club. Superb menu, delicious steak menu with entertainment for all ages. Membership available. Come in and see for yourself. Casuarina All Sports Club on Trower Road.
Gateway's mid-year sale is on now. There's massive savings centre-wide on big brands at all your favourite stores. Plus, with free easy parking, you can shop all day. Hurry, it's on now, so grab a bargain today at Gateway.
Mr. Barra, Darwin's largest seafood range. Fresh, locally caught fish, prawns, oysters, bugs and more. See your fish filleted, cleaned or cut fresh when you buy it. For your special occasion, Christmas or just for yourself. Mr. Barra, selling to Territorians for over 35 years.
At your local Joyce Main, you're set for summer. How good is it with super hot deals across Samsung smartwatches and mobile phones? Update now. Fisher & Paykel 8kg front load washer now $797. Update your tech now with a whopping 22% off selected Microsoft Surface. And stay chill with up to $200 cash back on selected hire fridges. Plus get 60 months interest free and get a bonus gift card. Now at your local Joyce Main.
I really want to give him a ring, but I'm too amped up. And I know the conversation with my ex will just go down the same way it always does.
It's days like these I end up using if I don't reset. And I managed to organise a chat with my therapist.
Hey Peter, how are you going this week?
I've got to call the ex-wife and I just don't want to. Yeah, is he around? Can I talk to him? Hey buddy, how you going? A little conversation goes a long way.
Barbecues galore Darwin at 660 Stewart Highway, Berrima, next to Amart. Entertaining this season? Barbecues galore Darwin have the big brands in modern outdoor living. And now, compare the largest Ziegler and Brown range in Darwin. Explore your own new flavours with Barbecues Galore's range of offset smokers and low and slow barbecues. Stock up on wood pellets, wood chips or marinades and proudly share your new flavour profiles. See the huge range at 660 Stewart Highway, Berrima, next to Amart. Barbecue better with Barbecues galore Darwin.
Harvey Norman's Summer Sizzlers. Enjoy summer at home and get a sleek new look with the Gwyn 7-piece dining suite. Huge value at just $1,199. Plus, get 60 months interest free with a bonus gift card. Now at Harvey Norman.
Did you see Anthony leave school?
Wait, he hasn't come home yet?
In the town of suspects,
He's loved. He wouldn't run away.
their greatest secret will be exposed.
He's out there. We're gonna find him.
The event series, The Disappearance. 9 now. Your world of free entertainment.
Critical medication will become more affordable for thousands of Australians from tomorrow when new drugs are added to the pharmaceutical benefit scheme. This includes Otezla, a treatment for chronic psoriasis, which currently costs more than $7,000 per year. Darzalex, a blood cancer medication with a $160,000 price tag, and Tagrisso, a targeted therapy for non-small cell lung cancer. These scripts will be capped at $41.30 or $6.60 for concession card holders. For our Defence Forces, 2020 has been a year defined by twin crises, bushfires and a pandemic, and both have needed the largest peacetime operations in our history. But then came the horrific allegations of war crimes by Special Forces in Afghanistan that will cast a shadow for years to come. Jonathan Kersley takes a look back.
Homes were razed, lives lost as blazes engulfed eastern Australia. The Victorian town of Malakuta was cut off and there were only two ways out, by air and by sea. Men and women in uniform were thrust onto the front line to ferry children, parents, the elderly and their pets away from the disaster zone.
Thank you for rescuing us.
In all, 6,500 troops and 3,000 reservists were sent to fire zones in Victoria, New South Wales, Queensland and South Australia to help communities brought to tears. Operation Bushfire Assist became Operation Relief, and not just for humans.
It's packed it up from you don't know where they get this stuff.
But before the smoke could settle, another crisis called for service.
Our personnel who were supporting the returns from Wuhan, and we have not stopped ever since.
Coronavirus shut the country.
There is no two-week answer to what we're confronting. There is no short-term, quick fix to how this is dealt with in Australia.
And when an outbreak hit Tasmania, military medics were sent in.
Some minor procedures, acute resuscitation.
11,000 personnel have since shuttled returning travellers, manned hotel quarantine, checkpoints, testing sites, been put into contact tracing teams and gone door to door.
Learned how to drive ambulances. We have worked in aged care, we've worked in hospitals.
It has been a long year. It's meant a lot of time away from family and friends. It's meant a lot of time in quarantine.
Overseas, Australia wrapped up its mission in Iraq. But this year Defence would also face arguably its darkest day.
Today, the Australian Defence Force is rightly held to account.
19 Special Forces soldiers accused of murdering 39 Afghan civilians and prisoners during the conflict in Afghanistan.
I sincerely and unreservedly apologise for any wrongdoing by Australian soldiers.
The findings from the 4.5-year inquiry hard to come to terms with for some.
It made me physically ill.
For others, disbanding an SAS unit and stripping them all of honours was too much.
The veteran community is in outrage.
Back it off until we know who's proven guilty.
The allegations went around the world. Beijing used them to escalate the feud with Canberra. The claims of war crimes will go to a special investigator, but it could be years before there are any prosecutions, meaning Defence will have to deal with this issue for some time to come. For those in uniform, the work goes on, preparing for a summer that could bring floods and cyclones.
We are ready to assist our regional friends, but we're also ready to support Australians.
And if duty calls, they will answer, because that's what they do. Jonathan Kersley, 9 News.
Argentina has legalised abortion, becoming the largest Latin American country to do so. This is the moment pro-choice campaigners learnt the law had been changed. Terminations will now be legal in the first 14 weeks of pregnancy. While we all think our pets have the greatest names, only one can take the top spot when it comes to popularity. This year, Luna has been crowned the winner, topping the list of most popular dog and cat names for 2020. Charlie was a close second for poochers, while Pepper was the runner-up for cats. Coming up in sport, the Aussies are looking for a saviour, but will they take a risk on an unfit David Warner? Football Australia signs a new deal that's set to be a game changer, and LeBron shatters another NBA record as only the Lakers star can.
Michelle Pfeiffer, John Travolta and Zac Efron.
Hope I didn't dent your do.
In the feel-good comedy Hairspray, tonight on 9.
Harvey Norman Summer Sizzlers. Enjoy summer at home with this Philips air purifier. Ideal for small rooms like a bedroom or nursery. Only $275. Plus get 60 months interest free with a bonus gift card now at Harvey Norman.
The plate clearance is on now at Bridge Toyota with incredible offers on popular models. Save thousands with free on roads across the new Hilux 4x4 range. Or how about 3.9% across the CHR, Corolla Hatch and Corolla Sedan range. Starting from $88 per week for the Corolla Ascent Sport Hatch Manual with Toyota Access. Race into Bridge Toyota, Darwin and Palmerston as these offers won't last.
Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
The new look Casuarina All Sports Club. Superb menu, delicious steak menu with entertainment for all ages. Membership available. Come in and see for yourself. Casuarina All Sports Club on Trower Road.
For the wet and dry season, Yeti is built for the NC. Camping World and Complete Angler are your authorised Yeti dealer. Our huge Yeti display holds the cold and keeps the heat. Find the right Yeti cooler or drinkware for your next outdoor adventure. From Ramblers to Tundras to the irresistible Yeti Colster can coolers. Beat the territory heat and step up to the real thing. Your Yeti authorised dealer is Camping World and Complete Angler Darwin.
I got a good feeling. Feel it in my bones, gotta shake it out. I'm going harder than before, let me hear you shout. I run around the whole world, chasing that thrill. From the bottom to the top, I finna knock it out. Oh no, I'm the talk of the town. I know you're feeling it now. Come on and move to the sound. And keep it going, and turn it up loud.
Transitions, right under control.
Visit your optical superstore optometrist to ask about Transitions brand lenses.
So yesterday wasn't great, but today I feel like I'm going to try and turn things around. I just need to reset. I have booked a chat with someone this morning, and this afternoon I've put some time aside, so I'm going to go and do something that makes me feel like me again.
Hey Gemma, how are you going this week?
Hi, I'm doing okay.
It's a matter of you working out what's right for you.
A little conversation goes a long way.
With Apple CarPlay and Android Auto standard across the Hilux range, you'll be as connected as you are comfortable. Maybe a little too comfortable. Connected and comfortable new Hilux. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
Layla McKinnon looks back at this year's incredible stories, from bushfires to the pandemic. What a roller coaster ride it's been. A current affair next.
This sports report brought to you by Harvey Norman. Shop online, mobile or in-store today.
Star opener David Warner is likely to be rushed back into Australia's side for the must-win third test, even if he's not at full fitness. The veteran was reunited with teammates today as the Aussies ponder their best top-order combination.
A relaxing New Year's Eve for the Australians. Tim Payne out for a light stroll with the family. Steve Smith on a quick coffee run as he tries to stay awake until midnight. Staying power is the major problem for our batsmen right now. The Australian camp doesn't believe their run drought is as bad as it seems.
Both teams have really struggled to get the scoreboard rattling along. So for me, that's good planning, good bowling execution. The surface in Sydney lends itself to having, the ball at certain stages being able to dominate the bat. I think that makes for intriguing Test match cricket, and I think the series is exactly where we thought it would be.
The opening partnership is once again the major issue for Australia. Will Pucovski has been cleared to return after a 9th concussion. He'll be assessed for a possible debut in the coming days.
Coming off, such instances as he's always been able to return, and I think he's had a pretty good track record of performing when he's returned immediately. So I think there'll be a bit of trust put into the player around whether he's mentally ready. And then clearly it'll be up to the coach once he lays eyes on him to see where he's at.
A fine young prospect. So if he gets the opportunity to open on January 7, I'm sure he'll be ready for it. It'll be a great challenge for him.
But David Warner is the other unknown. The veteran batsman is shaping as a likely inclusion at the top of the order, but will be underdone due to a groin injury.
He may not be 100% fit, who is coming off an injury. You never know until you get out there.
David Warner at the top of the order gives Australia that aggression, a bit of punch at the top of the order. It'll be a great challenge also for David, who hasn't now played for a month or so.
India can retain the Border Gavaskar Trophy with victory in Sydney. Taylor sees a real belief in the tourists.
I think the fact that Virat Kohli, that their captain and best player going home, inspired them. This is a different Indian side now. They are more resilient. They come to Australia these days now looking to win.
Jake Duke, 9 News.
Meanwhile, reinforcements are on the way for the Brisbane Heat, but they're not your average Joes. English international and former sixer Joe Denley is out of quarantine, while Joe Burns will looking to bounce back after his test dumping.
I've experienced being dropped from Test cricket, and it's not nice. You can have that hangover for a little while, but I'm sure he's very keen to sort of get back and play with that freedom and just go out and try and enjoy his cricket and find his form again.
The Heat came up short by just millimetres against the Hurricanes, with Mark Steckerty's bouncing bat denying him a game-tying single on the final ball. It meant spinner Mujib ur Rahman's franchise record figures of 5 for 15 counted for little. It's been dubbed Independence Day. Football Australia finally agreeing to a deal which will hand full control of the A-League to its clubs, and it's being hailed as a potential game changer.
Breakups aren't usually celebrated with music and a highlights reel. But this divorce, or unbundling as it's been described, has been a long time coming.
Now we've got to deliver. It's as simple as that. We've got an opportunity here to deliver what the game deserves.
The split is complicated. As of today, Football Australia hands full control of its professional leagues to member clubs, something that's commonplace globally.
And in turn, we're very confident this will trigger significant new investment into the league.
On the pitch, Melbourne Victory has a win to chase. They open their season against Brisbane Roar at Amy Park on Saturday night, and it's their first chance to right the wrongs of last season.
I'm not going to stand here and just say I want to make finals. We want to win it. We want to add to the silverware we already have in there.
Across town, a blow for Melbourne City, who revealed Andrew Naboot will be sidelined for 6 weeks with a hamstring strain. While in Sydney, MacArthur gave fans a debut outing they'll never forget.
Benyata to Maria! Marks his debut with the opening goal, and MacArthur are on top.
The Bulls holding on to beat the Wanderers 1-0.
Basketball legend LeBron James has celebrated his 36th birthday by making another piece of NBA history. He did it during the Lakers' 121-107 point win over the Spurs. Today's 26-point haul was the 1,000th time in a row he's posted 10 points or more in a regular season game, and that's why his club pays him $50 million a year. Seven-time Formula One world champion Lewis Hamilton will now be known as Sir Lewis Hamilton after he was awarded a knighthood in the UK's New Year's Honours List. It caps a memorable year for the 35-year-old who became the most successful driver in F1 history.
Just to get one or two or even three is you know, it's so hard to get. So 7 is just unimaginable.
Sir Lewis is expected to be in Australia in March for the Melbourne Grand Prix. Amy has your full weather report after the break. And Amy, how are the skies looking down at the waterfront?
Murph, they're looking pretty grey, but the 9 p.m. fireworks are all set to go ahead. But will it rain for the final countdown? I'll have those details next.
Nine News Darwin, proudly brought to you by TIO, insurance for Territorians.
Layla McKinnon looks back at this year's incredible stories, from bushfires to the pandemic. What a rollercoaster ride it's been. A current affair next.
Harvey Norman Summer Sizzlers. Enjoy summer at home with this Fisher & Paykel freestanding cooker featuring an extra large capacity oven. Huge value at just $2,199. Plus, get 60 months interest free with a bonus gift card. Now at Harvey Norman.
The plate clearance is on now at Bridge Toyota with incredible offers on popular models. Save thousands with free on roads across the new Hilux 4x4 range. Or how about 3.9% across the CHR, Corolla Hatch and Corolla Sedan range. Starting from $88 per week for the Corolla Ascent Sport Hatch Manual with Toyota Access. Race into Bridge Toyota, Darwin and Palmerston as these offers won't last. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
So yesterday wasn't great, but today I feel like I'm going to try and turn things around. I just need to reset. I have booked a chat with someone this morning, and this afternoon I've put some time aside, so I'm going to go and do something that makes me feel like me again.
Hey Gemma, how are you going this week?
Hi, I'm doing okay.
It's a matter of you working out what's right for you.
A little conversation goes a long way.
Harvey Norman Summer Sizzlers. Enjoy summer at home with the Bond 13-piece outdoor extension dining setting. Durable, versatile, and huge value at just $1,999. Plus, get 60 months interest free with a bonus gift card. Now at Harvey Norman.
This weather alert brought to you by Fridgelec. We've got the stock. Be cool and comfortable. Fridgelec, your Dakin air conditioned specialist.
Again, as we gear up to say goodbye to 2020, we can't rule out rain for midnight with a few showers hanging around that could make their way into Darwin. Today though, Darwin reached 32 degrees, the humidity peaking at 90%. Right now it's around 30 degrees. Taking a look at the satellite, a trough of low pressure in WA extends across the northern tropics, which is also seeing a large area of active cloud and embedded thunderstorms. For the capitals tomorrow in Brisbane, shower or two and 28. A shower expected for Sydney too, reaching 23. 26 for Melbourne with a shower and a sunny one for Perth expected to hit 35. In the top end tomorrow, Katherine, showers and a storm likely 35. 39 and partly cloudy for Tennant Creek. Sunny too in Alice Springs, reaching 39. The same conditions in Yulara and a top of 41. On the Darwin Harbour, seas below 1 metre, northwesterly winds 10 to 15 knots in the morning, then becoming westerly around 10 knots in the late afternoon. A low tide of 1 metre just after 1:30, rising to 7.4 metres after 8 p.m. Time now to look at our catch of the day, and today's winner is 10-year-old Cooper. He reeled in this 65-centimetre catch at one of the Territory's Barramundi farms. Nice work, Cooper. And you too can send us your catch of the day entries to newsphotos@9.com.au. Taking a closer look now at Palmerston tomorrow, 33 degrees with showers and possible storm activity. The same forecast for Humpty Doo, and a top of 33 in Darwin, rainy and potential storm. We can expect the same wet conditions over the next 7 days with temperatures in the low 30s. Showers forecast for the first day of 2021. Sounds like a pretty good excuse to me for a sleep in. Murph, I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, don't party too hard. Thank you, Amy, for that. Well, despite spending the festive season checking permits and licences, police monitoring Victoria's borders have taken a moment to move to the music. Several officers were spotted dancing to the Nutbush with residents in Wodonga. The dance bringing a bit of New Year cheer. Good on them. And that is 9 News for this year. I'm Paul Murphy. From all the team, I'd like to take this opportunity to wish you a very happy and safe New Year. We do thank you very much for watching us night after night, and I'll be back tomorrow to do it all over again. So we do hope you can join us for what's shaping up as a very exciting 2021. But for now, we do wish you a very good night.